ready to do at this time. Now, which election would that be on?
In November.
November's election. Okay, but that's where your package store in the city of Elizabeth. Okay. And also, in last month's meeting, we talked about the, it was brought up, excuse me, about the poll watchers, and there was a list turned in to the election commission about poll workers. And how did that, any rejections, anything that?
I think it was a mistake. I don't see that they accomplished anything and really just created a little extra problem. Of course, that's their priority.
Yes.
What kind of problems did they create?
Sitting in the door here where they're not legal, when they're not far enough away from the voting machine.
That was an area, instead of having them right here at the door coming in, that was the only area really as far away as we could put them. And I chose that because I didn't want them there, and I didn't want them close to the machine. So right there is probably about the best in this confined space that we
Well, we were both guilty. I mean, the law says it's 10 feet, but we don't have 10 feet to put them unless we change buildings.
So actually it was something that we couldn't control due to the machinery and everything sitting here. So I think it was adequate. Some days we didn't have a poll, did we?
We only had them for like the first 3 or 4 days.
Okay, so that worked out well.
Did any of the precincts have any?
Never saw any. Did you?
I never saw them.
I didn't either.
I was on the precinct.
Now, when I went
One
to
did, because I remember seeing where they signed their poll list. One precinct did. I want to say it was Carter County.
yeah, I know when I went to Little Milligan, they said, that woman told me, said a guy come in there and said, I've never done this before. Said, where do I go? And she said, are you a poll watcher? And he said, yeah. She said, you sit right over here. And he said, well, how do I hand out? She said, you can't talk to anybody. He said, well, how do I hand out the cards? She said, you
I think he had probably had his priorities probably be outside of the election for somebody.
I know they had picketers across up where Hilton Mills is picketed. They was picketing across the road on.
that one old man,
Well, there's about 3 or 4 of them was up there.
the Eisenhower,
Protesting.
Eisenhower, he was an Eisenhower Republican.
What was you protesting?
The photo ID.
Yeah, along with everything else.
We'll get that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mills, sitting over in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ain't nothing we could about
I don't know
that. He
where
has a right to.
oh yeah, there's 3 or 4 people talking with him. I don't know where these protesters also or what.
I went over, I thought he was somebody, he waved at me when I went in. And I thought, well, maybe I know him, so I walked over and talked to him. I said, well, it's a mistake. That's here nor there. Okay.
All right, we satisfied that out pretty good. I think that worked well. No big deal. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all and the office workers and Tracy for handling the election the way we did. I mean, I think everything, well, it was new for everyone on photo ID. And no, I didn't hear any people saying that they were not going to show their photo ID. I think everybody that turned a corner here or in the precinct, since I asked them, they did. Have any problem with photo ID? No. And when I was in the precinct, I went to Chief Butler's son that morning and that afternoon, I went on home. People come in to vote, and they was digging at their billfold, or ladies was looking in the purse. Some of them even had them in their hand when they came in. So.
I think it went great too, except, where was it, in Arizona or California? They were demonstrating because they wouldn't let the illegals vote without a voter's ID.
I
Texas.
saw yesterday on.
Am I right, Jason?
It was Texas.
Texas? Well, that's,
I saw on the computer yesterday where it come out of the Tennessee committee, 4-3 vote. They passed. Now it's got to go before the complete assembly down there. But
Yep.
they passed where they would let them vote provisional, but they would take a picture in the administrator's office. They put cameras up in the administrator's office.
That ain't the way the law was set up, but
Well, this is a new law, see, they're
Yeah.
appealing it, and that's the way it come out of the committee
they
yesterday.
ain't no better than me and you, I'll tell you right from.
Tennessee.
Oh,
Well, I asked Tracy to check into that if we could get a camera set up in the election.
Well, it come out of the committee yesterday in Tennessee, 4-3 vote, that they start taking pictures in the administrator's office, and everybody votes, and if they vote provisional, they take their picture in the administrator's.
Well,
How
let's try
long
to
did
get-
they have to take all these pictures and everything? I mean, like that, I don't see why anybody couldn't have took a day off and have their pictures and be
Well,
legal.
I'll tell you, when I retired, I never had to have a birth certificate. And when they wanted my birth
Well,
certificate.
you probably not legal then.
Yeah.
I know it, but I didn't have a birth certificate.
See,
I had to have one when I retired. I was born in Mitchell County, North Carolina, and I had to drive to North Carolina, pay $35 for a birth certificate, and bring it back. Well, you can't get a state photo ID without a birth certificate now. Well, there's a lot of people, I'm 72, and there's a lot of people in the same category and age that I am.
I have to.
So, I mean, that is a problem with some people.
yeah, that's,
But it's not, a voter's not, ID is not a problem with illegals. I mean, the problem is either they get legal or they don't vote.
Yeah,
but the provision for that is if you're over 65, you can vote by
My
mail.
God,
yeah.
I've run the provisional voting out of the sight, how many people would vote that way.
I know a man that goes to our church. He said, I'll never vote again. He said, I'm not going down there and get one. I mean, now, there's people being contrary, you know, so.
So what, so let them just miss out on
but I
voting.
just brought that up, I did see it on the computer where it come out of the committee.
Yeah, I'd heard on that.
He ain't got no sense.
All right.
Well, before you go any further, you're talking about the people, what a good job they done. Election day, I want to rebuttal that and say that you've done a good job of being downstairs
Yeah,
and
that,
usher, and that really put
Yeah,
us through the meal.
yeah, I think that really helped.
It
It
did.
sure did.
And I appreciate that, but it just had to be done, and people were cooperating. I mean, I was joking with them, they was joking with me, and we just had a good time. And everybody was sober, that's what really.
It went real smooth.
That's about the fastest we've ever had everything checked in.
Yeah.
Over with. So.
Yeah.
So maybe we can continue, next time, let's see if we can get some more prickers and some more buggies.
Or at least one more buggy,
We just ordered that one more buggy, the extra one. We ordered nothing.
you know.
Is
So
there
I-
somebody in the courthouse got them?
Everybody borrows ours. That's how ours got gone. What I was actually want, for they have so much to carry in the one magazine, they've got little bitty, buggies that it's for carrying vote machines. And then it folds up and go in their car.
Well, you know, it's hard for them to get out of the precinct.
Carrying all that stuff.
Carrying all the stuff they gotta carry.
That's what I was talking
Well,
about.
I think they done a good job of one of each party bringing the machines back, except one case, but I think Wayne explained what happened on that. Two people lined together.
Well, back to you, I appreciate you keeping the press up, Dave, appreciate the guys in here checking in, Smitty checking in, and everything just seemed like
Phil,
went pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Real good, and everybody did well. Now, moving right along, update on the maps, are we okay with them now?
yeah, they're in there, and he said if we wanted a bigger map to find out the exact size we wanted, if it was 8 foot long or what have you, and he would make it down there in 3 sections, and it'd have markers where you put it together, and we could put it on any wall we wanted on it. But he said that he had to have the measurement in order to line it up where it pieced together, put the little connected dots there where the 3 pieces went together.
Can I say something. He's done a wonderful job, and the maps are great. However, I think the size that we're using, we're gonna have to get two maps, one representative and one for the Senate. So with that size map, would that not be adequate? Because if we put a representative in the Senate here side by side, that would just about take up that wall.
Yeah, we really need one in the office when people fix their
Well,
papers up
that's
to look
size.
at. Yeah, but which we've got some of those that size that we could put all three of them side by side and take up that whole wall instead of having a really big one. And we could do a
Now, I'm
very
not
big
talking,
one
I'm talking
here.
about one map, 3 times that big.
Yeah,
And they'll piece together, you know, they'll have little slots and areas where they connect together. And,
that would be great for that wall. I thought it would be good put in there too, but
Well-
we've got to keep the Senate, where we're split districts now, we really need a map of that in there too. Where those all three probably go side by side, the size that we have.
Tracy's gonna take a picture of
Okay.
Doug Smith and
So, Miller,
Wayne Buck.
to your son, thanks a lot, and I would
You
like
did a
to,
great job.
yes, I would like to send him a letter of thanks, number one, with our signatures on it, the election commission, administrative election, and the office workers, how much we appreciate it, and tell him next time he's in, he can buy our dinner.
yeah, he'll like it.
Okay. Good, so let's get a letter off to him with the letterhead on it,
I'll have it ready by next meeting.
addressed to him, addressed to him.
And if you, I'll give you his number, if you wanna call him, tell him exactly what you want.
Okay,
And I'm going down there tonight, and I'll bring it back to you.
okay.
Another little item that I would like to see accomplished, and this is going to take a little bit of work, but I've sort of drafted out a letter, and it's to the poll workers. And I'd like to somehow just touch these people that helped us, and any of this can be corrected. This is just a rough draft. However, if we do accept this, I would choose not to use it as a form letter because I want it to each poll worker.
Personalized.
But I said up the top, dear and in a blank. Dear John Doe, thank you for being an important participant in protecting our right to vote. Every registered voter in Carter County was given the opportunity to vote. Thanks for your efforts, 6,522 did. The poll workers present during early voting to the last vote on election day, you made this a successful election process. Since this was the first time that photo ID was required, it was important that each worker understood their part in making sure that all was well. There were no reported incidents, and all of the voter issues were addressed satisfactorily. We, the Election Commission, Administrative Election, Office personnel, want to thank you for doing a great job and look forward to working with you in the general election. There's another election for the general election, I think. What is
We
that?
usually send a thank you letter out at the end of the election cycle for the whole year to everybody that worked in the election.
Got one in August, got one in November.
I'm gonna do it now,
Would it,
not to be
No, I was just
mean
telling
or
you.
anything, I'd just like to get it out to them so that those people, and one of the reasons is poll workers. And when you address the next time you have poll workers, for instance, if the one that counts didn't show up, just leave that blank and show out here before we gotta have Republican or Democrat. Just take her off. I think you had some that didn't show. That way, we don't even have to discuss them when we're choosing poll workers. They're not even listed. So, if we can do that.
Especially
I
if
mentioned
they,
something, excuse me.
I was just gonna say, especially if they didn't show and didn't call.
I think we completely have to work.
now, I had three that was in the hospital or
I got listed about
they called in.
7
Yeah.
people. didn't show up in the first Tracy. What I was gonna bring out of, Mr. Chairman, if we've got a precinct that somebody doesn't show up, I don't think we should leave it in the officer of the precinct to say we don't want nobody or something. That should refer back up to us. People need to work, and I know one or two precincts didn't have people show up and they didn't want them replaced. That shouldn't be their position to tell us that they don't want somebody to work. We'll tell them if we want somebody to work.
Well, Eastside School was one that the lady told me that she didn't have enough workers. They worked short, and they said they did everything well. And it was a lot.
It was a lot,
They
right.
need to experience Watauga, Rain the same way. It's not up to him to tell us that he don't want nobody to work.
Well, when I got to Elton Mills, they put 2 workers on up there,
Who put them on
the officer up
there? Whose authority?
For additional help, or they needed
No.
help.
I think one of them had surgery or
So I
something.
know there was a death in the family. They,
Yeah, I know that, but who
He told
authorized
me
him
when
to
he came
put
in
somebody?
here, he said he has some replacements. If he can
Oh,
go ahead and put
okay.
them in. When he picked his machines up the day before, and I said, that'd be great.
yeah.
That
Oh,
was-
so he did get authority. I'm saying,
Yeah.
if they do this on their own, it's not their job,
Oh,
it's our
no,
job.
he told me that there was a death in the family.
I didn't
Remember if it
understand, I
was
didn't
death or-
understand, yeah, his sister died,
Yeah.
and it was the mother of one of the workers, and
A niece or something.
a niece or something, it was
Yeah,
family.
Mr. Cable, he runs a good show, but I'm saying, if he hires somebody on his own, that's not gonna
Well, I
work.
didn't understand it all, because when I got up there, he told me he had them out sick, but he said, I've got me some workers here, said, I've got so-and-so here, and I thought he had just,
No, when he
but
picked
I
his
didn't
son
know,
up-
I didn't know he'd come through the office.
So evidently it was clear with
Yeah.
Tracy, we gave her that authority to do
Yeah.
that, so I think that satisfies the.
And then Tim Vines, you see, the night of he's a hunter, machine operator, and at the night of the, school, they had to take him to the emergency room, and he was in the emergency, or in the hospital the Monday before the election.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Is that really an excuse? Somebody wouldn't wait for money.
Well, they
Not
kept
with
him in the
him.
hospital.
I still don't know.
They wouldn't let him out, they had him chained.
We need more though.
Not with Taylor.
And then also, that Elvis who works up there, the older gentleman, he's a real good worker, they all really like him, and he was also in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people, you know, leave.
And they asked me, you know, to not take him off the list.
Didn't somebody at Hampton call, not show up and they didn't call in on them, Tracy? I got a list of it. It was about 7 people, but most of them legitimate, like you're saying there.
Present those to Tracy, if you will, so that she can go through it. Like I said, if one of the towns didn't show up, and I don't even know who's doing it, one of the towns didn't show up, just leave it blank and we're the Democrat Republic, okay? And then when we start choosing these poll workers, we can do it, you see, or we can do it, you see.
Do you go with the list, Tracy, Democrat or Republican, when they need somebody and don't we have a list to fill them in?
Right.
Is that what we go by? No problem.
Yeah, okay. What do you think about this little matter? I'd like to get it out.
I think it's,
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest that, on behalf of the commissioners, that we publish a letter in the paper, but I
Yeah.
think that's just as good.
An individual, just send it to them, and that general election down there, what's the next election?
State primary.
Mr. Chairman, did we drop the little issue on recognizing the oldest precinct worker? Did we?
No, we didn't drop it, it was presented.
No big deal, I just wondered, you know, it'd be nice to say, hey, this
I
person's
talked to
still
Marcel
working.
over there, this is what, about 40 years?
Who?
Marcel Townsend.
I guess so, she's in her eighties, but there's some probably, according to that list, that's, I don't know where they're all working on, it's older than she is probably.
Raymond Calhoun, probably.
Yeah, he's 70,
No, he's 80 something.
that's right, he's 80, he's 12 years older.
Marcel